Have you ever felt out of place, lost even in your home, school and life? Basically, Holy Land is about our main character, Kamishiro Yu, trying to create a place for himself in the world. At school, Yu is constantly bullied by his classmates. Constant violence takes its toll on Yu, which leads to depression, and at one point, even suicidal thoughts of our main protagonist. Over time, he stops going to school altogether and eventually shutting himself inside his room, rotting away in his bed, playing video games in the delusion of searching for some kind of peace or comfort, as the outside world seems too harsh for him. This eventually comes to a stop when one day he finds a book about boxing, and that's when he decides to actually try changing something in his life. A new challenge he sets for himself. He starts training intensively, repeating the same move every day until he reaches a certain point of satisfaction with himself. One day, Kamishiro begins going out into the city at night. At night, the city is filled with thugs and gang members. Basically, it's dangerous. But in this danger is Kamishiro looking for a place where he will be accepted, to find a safe place, his holy land. A place where he can truly feel like he belongs and is not a fake reality that he sees every day. The story will go on how Kamishiro will grow up stronger, how he fights different and stronger people each time, while also taking a small step into understanding himself. Now to begin with the review. This manga is for readers who want to truly experience a story and enjoy the journey it offers. If you're looking for a quick read or some mindless action, this might not be for you. You might even get bored at some times, since not every moment is filled with fighting. In this manga, you will dive deep into the main character's mindset, see his feelings, emotions, and how he develops and understands himself more as he keeps on fighting. If you're looking for something deeper, something that resonates, this manga will not leave you disappointed. It rewards patience and reflection. Its strength lies in the experience it creates. With each fight, you'll see how Kamishiro develops his fighting skills and emotionally unlocks another door. He starts to understand himself more and begins to figure out what he really wants in life. There's also a bit of romance sprinkled in, which I always love in this kind of mangas. What I also really love about Holy Land is how it portrays bullying. Sure, it includes some of the classic cheesy bullies we've all seen in movies, shows, and other manga. But what sets Holy Land apart is how the author shows the emotional and psychological effects on you. It's simple but powerful. We see how much of a devastating effect it has on Kamishiro's self-confidence and his life. I love how the author portrays how Kamishiro tries to battle these feelings and how he tries to escape the chains. He gets so used to bullying that if something good happens to him, he cannot accept as he sees himself undeserving of it. This manga will show you how Kamishiro will grow as a person, and it will be like you walking with him as he goes along his journey. Regarding the story, it's quite realistic. In many scenes, the author speaks directly to the reader, sharing his own thoughts and emotions. The fights are grounded in reality. I also love the character development and how the story builds up over time. The fight may be a bit gory, but it is well within boundaries and it will not gross you out. For the art style, I would say it's clean and satisfactory. The fight scenes are realistic and drawn with good detail. You will be reading it with excitement and will not have to spend time trying to analyze what's actually happening. The author, Mauri Koji, did a wonderful job in drawing the fight scenes. You will see movies like a jab, an uppercut, a Brazilian kick and many more in a sequence that will not definitely bore you. So if you're into fighting manga and you enjoy watching a main character grow from weak to someone you can truly respect as the story goes on, while cheering him on from behind the scenes, Holy Land is definitely worth reading and you should definitely give it a try. Overall, I would rate this manga 8 out of 10 for the story, the art style and how it develops overall. Now, the second manga will be Out. From all the mangas that I've read, I can say that this manga got me the most interested and hooked onto. Out is about a 17-year-old delinquent, Iguchi Tatsuya, that has just been released from juvenile detention and is now on probation. He used to be part of a gang and was even in the special forces, the force that attacked first and was the main offensive power of a gang. In there, they called him the Mad Dog of Komai, but in one of the fights, he got caught by the police. As such, he had to spend 6 months in juvie. There, he experienced a kind of hell, which made him decide that he would never be going back there and would live a normal life now. But as you know, old habits die hard. After juvie, Tatsuya changes his location and starts living with his aunt and her husband and works at a local restaurant, all while being supervised by his parole officer that is keen on catching Tatsuya and returning him to the juvie. But in a new environment, having such a past life, it is not so easy to keep out of trouble. But this time it is somewhat different. Tatsuya grows to be more mature, more resilient and understanding. His past actions and the consequences he had to deal with taught him a lesson on how to move forward, not necessarily stepping back into his old life, but not necessarily forgetting as well. In his hometown, he will meet many people and see events that we will remember for life. This manga is surely worth reading. I can say this manga is not martial arts. It's basically a rivalry between gangs, fighting against each other, one-on-ones, maintaining the respect and dignity, and so on. But to be honest, I love this kind of manga. Sometimes I wish for myself that I had the courage or the strength to defend myself like that. I'm not saying that I would like to become a delinquent, but to be a respectable man in streets, to have that kind of strength to oppose anything. I believe everybody at some point wishes for that. I love the art style, the development of the story and also the protagonist. And you can actually see his character development, which you will not see in many of mangas today. Also, this manga really portrays the harshness and hellish environment of a juvie. It shows the other and true side of the delinquent world. I know that there are way better school gang mangas out there, but this one is something that I can assure you will be worth your time. You should definitely read this manga if you like this kind of genre. I would even say that Tokyo Revengers took many things from this manga, such as for example the captain of the main gang, Tanzawa Atsushi, a girlish boy with blonde long hair that is a total psycho. He is very similar to Mikey from Tokyo Revengers. And also some other aspects and some parts of the plot in Tokyo Revengers has surely been inspired from this manga. Even some villains and main characters. So if you're a fan of Tokyo Revengers, this manga will hit you right in the spot. What I also love about this manga is that the characters have depth. They have their own story and are unique. It's like you're also reading a story of every other character besides the protagonist. Conflicts and wars are beautifully drawn, and the story is really satisfying with many twists and turns which you would never expect. I have to be honest that this manga really portrays well how the delinquents think in general, and what is truly important to them, what is their essence, and why do they choose this kind of path in life. Overall, I would rate this manga 9 out of 10. I have read many other gang mangas, but this one is a must. Every aspect is well maintained, the storyline, character development, the art style, so you should definitely give this one a try. Next manga I will be reviewing is Rounder Meguru. It is about a boy named Meguru that has little to no ambition. He is a decent grappler, a decent boxer, a decent karate expert, basically overall a decent martial artist. You could call him an all-rounder, hence the title of Rounder Meguru. At an amateur competition, he meets his childhood friend Takeshi, now a man who is filled with ambition, that is complete opposite of Meguru. Takeshi and Meguru used to be friends, but due to certain circumstances, they cut connection and meet again after many years at a competition. While Takeshi keeps going forward wanting to be the very best like no one has ever been, Meguru continues doing Shoto for fun. Shoto is basically kind of like MMA, but it's considered as a separate sport. To continue with the story, these two just sort of have this push and pull moment of going with each other. It's basically like Ippo and Miyata from Hajime no Ippo, Naruto and Sasuke, and that kind of concept in general, having a deuteragonist for their development. Two rivals going separate ways, hoping that one day they will cross their paths again. Now, I have to be honest that the art style is clean and I really enjoyed it. It is detailed enough, the fight scenes are realistic and you really get hooked into it. So you will not have any concerns regarding that. The art style for action is very exciting as well, especially in regards to the boxing and grappling. There is something really satisfying watching a rear choke going into a triangle choke, going into a leg choke, going into a back choke, going into an armbar and everything else. It's just insane seeing all of these techniques play out. The action is very satisfying and the author clearly understands what the audience wants to see. But compared to other fighting manga, there is little to no gore at all. It is pure technique and all about fighters being safe. You will not see any harsh injuries compared to other manga. And it is not as exciting as Out or Holy Land if you ask me, but you can still give it a try. What I had a problem with the manga was the main character. The side characters for me are wonderful, they have their own place in the story and also add the momentum of building up the main character. But we do not see his personal development. Yeah, we see him getting stronger and getting new skills after every fight, but him taking steps forward into his personal development, not so much. He seems really empty, or you will not even understand what he is even thinking or what he actually wants. Hence the bad part of the manga. Also, I had a problem with the pacing. Compared to other manga, it is relatively slow, which may dull the excitement of reading. But if you decide to read this manga, you should expect this and still continue reading as the overall story is decent and you will not be left dissatisfied. Overall, I would rate this manga 6.5 out of 10. The art style was nice and the story was decent, but nothing too exciting or worth noticing. And the final manga I will be reviewing is Little Lord of Karate. Little Lord of Karate is about a college student, Kohinata Miro, at a college that is popular for its sports rather than academic orientation. Although he starts out as a gymnast alongside his friend Nana, Minoru is bullied by higher ranked gymnasts. One evening, Kohinata was helping his friend Nina with her practices late at night, when suddenly the senior gymnasts that bully Kohinata show up and start physically harassing him. At one moment, Nana decides to defend her friend, where suddenly the gymnasts turn against Nana, stripping off her clothes and planning something awful. At this moment, we would expect Kohinata to stand up for himself and protect her friend, but instead, he starts apologizing. In the shadows, a karate student at the college, Mutou Ryuji, is witnessing all of this. After seeing how much of a coward Kohinata is, he rages and instantly defeats all of the gymnasts, including Kohinata himself. But his intentions are to drag him into the world of karate to make him a man. Minoru makes new friends and starts learning karate, starts becoming stronger, and that's basically his journey in this entire manga. As I read the manga, I would say that it is a mixture of seinen and shonen, but it's more like seinen. Compared to other fighting manga, this is pretty gory. It has a lot of arrogant and sexual violence scenes. As such, if you're that kind of guy that doesn't like this kind of content, you should definitely avoid reading this. But overall, I really enjoyed reading this manga. It has many gigs and is genuinely funny, but also there are many moments that you will probably have to look the other way while reading it. The art is well done and the fight scenes are drawn in detail. While reading it, you will be excited, but overall there are around 500 chapters, so it will be a long one. I have to be honest that I have not fully read it, but I'm sure that the story will get pretty stretched out. But if that does not bother you, I'm sure you will enjoy it. The characters are not really that special. The main character is also not that interesting. The side characters do give some addition to the story and make it more entertaining to read, but as I was reading, I was lacking something from this. Also, as I mentioned, I did not fully read the manga, but as I saw the reviews, many were left unsatisfied as they felt like the ending was rushed and the author did not have time. So keep all of this in mind if you decide to read this manga. Overall, taking everything into consideration, I would rate this manga 6 out of 10. That was all for this video. I understand that you may be asking, where is Hajime no Ippo, Kengan Ashura, Baki, Kenichi's my TS disciple, but the main point of this video was to show you fighting manga that you may not have heard of and are a decent read. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. You can drop us your suggestions and we will be sure to look into it. See you next time.